Hi everyone and welcome back to BrickCats. Thanks for joining me today, and if you enjoy my content, thanks so much in advance for subscribing, leaving a comment, and dropping a like for this video or any others. I'm just under 300 subscribers right now, and I'd love to hit the 300 mark, so again, I greatly appreciate it if you subscribe, and I hope to keep making content you all find worth watching. And today we are on Viewer Connections number 5. If you have a question or topic you'd like me to answer or discuss in the future, please leave them below or get in touch with me any way you'd like. I just returned from a nice vacation and I'm collecting parts for the recently released Brickvault gunship. In the coming weeks I'll be posting reviews of Jerax's TIE Bomber, Fukusaku's X-Wing, and probably Jerax's TIE Advance depending on the post office, which sadly has recently marked 2 of my Bricklink orders as delivered, but they were not delivered to me. The future after that is somewhat murky, but I've got several models in the queue. But without further ado, let's go into this week's discussions, starting with Chris Howe, who left the comment, "I would love to see a Walker Mock, ATST, ATRT, AT-AT. Definitely noted. I've started looking for some candidates. Eventually I'll do Brickvault's ATTE. It's going to take me a while. And there has to be some smaller walkers like the ATST or ATRT that are fairly accessible. If you have any suggestions, please let me know." Liam McHugh asks, "Would you ever consider creating a Rebel or Imperial army, as from most of your videos it's more towards the original trilogy, or at least that timeline?" Probably not. It's very unlikely that I will ever army build. I'm not a huge minifigure collector in general. I keep them with the sets, but I don't buy minifigures just to have them. I can understand the appeal of army building, but it's not for me. That Wolf from Hyrule asks, "What do you think of Legends Craft? Ships like the V-Wing Airspeeder, unrelated to the Clone Wars era Starfighter or the AT-PT, craft in non-standard common colors?" Star Wars Legends, or formerly the Expanded Universe, has a lot of material that I spent many of my earlier years imagining and having fun with, reading the books, things like that. Some ships that come to mind are the Heipan Battle Dragons, the Subcrusher, the World Devastators, the Outrider and the Virago, and the Cyrook craft from the Truce of Bakra, just to name a few. I think there's a lot of material in Legends that doesn't get a lot of attention, when it probably deserves more. I was pretty happy, for example, to see this Mist Hunter model from SW Brick Designs recently. And ships in non-standard color schemes don't really bother me, certainly as long as it's well done. And I try to appreciate that people spend their time and money on these sorts of things, so it's not really my personal taste that matters. A user on Instagram asks, "How do you organize your Lego?" Great question, and the short answer is that I don't really do more than the bare minimum. I've got this really great hobby box for smaller parts so I like to have on hand, and these are organized loosely by element type. If I'm collecting parts for a specific model, I use these plastic bins with snap tops that I got from Loblaws, which is a Canadian grocery store chain, and also I have a few larger ones from IKEA. And I like these because they have flat bottoms, and that means parts don't get stuck in the little grooves or indentations that other containers have. My spares bin is just that. It's a larger container, also from IKEA, that is always too small, and I dump this out regularly if I'm looking for something specific or a substitute. These all tend to live under my desk, as space in my house is kind of at a premium, and I tend to access them pretty frequently. And I also have a larger storage bin in my very crowded closet with all the off-colors, the tires, and miscellaneous parts that I don't see myself using anytime soon. LBJ Productions asks, "Could you perhaps review the both First Order ties, mainly the Special Forces one, because I'm having difficulties fitting a minifigure in the rear seat." The First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter is also on my list, but not a very high priority right now. But it doesn't surprise me at all that the second minifigure is a tight fit. On the standard TIE Fighter, it's a tight squeeze anyway, or already I should say, and there's not a lot of room to work with here. A user on Instagram asks, "Are you getting the UCS gunship, and what are your thoughts on the controversy?" I'm definitely getting the gunship, and I managed to order it at midnight, and as of Tuesday morning, August 3rd, when I'm recording this, it is still available with the gift with purchase, so that's pretty great. As for where I'm going to put it, who knows? It's probably going to stay with the UCS Falcon and Star Destroyer in my closet for a while. As for the controversy, I think a lot of the hype was kind of self-defeating, and what I mean by that was so many fans made it known that they wanted the UCS gunship, which I think convinced LEGO they didn't have to care about the minifigure vote, which wasn't binding in the first place, but never mind that. LEGO clearly decided they weren't going to lose sales by not including a Phase 2 Cody and Jedi Bob, so they just didn't. I think that if anything comes out of this episode, it will be that LEGO doesn't ask the fans for input again anytime soon, which is a shame. In the end, I think it's just the vocal minority kind of venting without any real substance behind it. Most of them are going to buy the gunship anyway, and I think that regardless of the so-called controversy, the gunship is going to be the best-selling UCS set probably ever. The whole talking point about LEGO never giving the fans what they want, or LEGO ignoring their Star Wars fans, is just complete nonsense. The 501st Battle Pack, obviously, is just maybe the most visible example, but everybody who complained about the LEGOCon not being tailored to Star Wars or whatever, I think they answered that criticism by dedicating the fan event to the UCS gunship and introducing it through Solid Brick Studios. So that was a really great way to, in my opinion, get the LEGO YouTube community at least involved in the gunship release. So in short, I think people just need to allow for the possibility that some of the things that quote-unquote the fans want might not be sound in the business sense, and I try and remember this when I start complaining as well. Jordan Burrows asked for clarification on my disclaimer statement. Quote, if a designer released instructions for a mock that used a Mega Block component, would you not build it? Or is a mock not valid if constructed from LEGO compatible bricks? I'm not against LEGO compatible toys or other systems, but I choose not to use them. I would rather support LEGO. If a designer used a Mega Block component, that itself wouldn't automatically disqualify it from my rotation, but it would definitely be weird. And I also don't know where to get that Mega Block part. And for that reason, I don't think that it's likely that I'll ever run into a Mega Block issue in any of the mocks that I build. I put the disclaimer in there mostly to establish the baseline that any structural or integrity issues I point out are not due to using non-LEGO parts. LEGO imitations have different tolerances and clutch strengths, so to me it doesn't make sense to criticize a model, for example, for being unstable if I can't eliminate the possibility that it's inherent to the pieces themselves instead of just the connection. That will be all for this episode of Viewer Connections. What do you think of the UCS gunship? Do you buy into the controversy? Did you vote in the minifigure poll, and are you disappointed in the minifigures? I would also love to see some of your LEGO storage setups or techniques. And as always, I greatly appreciate your time, and don't forget to support the channel or leave your question in the comments for the next episode. Thanks again, and see you next time.